new thought teachings and things that we like to contemplate. One is that, we've been here before. We've relived these experiences, either in past lifetimes or however we want to conceptualize that. And I love the idea of thinking that every time is a new opportunity to make a different choice. And when we're put in those positions of hard choices to make about relationships and how I'm being affected by another person at another time, whatever, if it feels like they're stealing our peace, what is the answer? I mean, that's supposed to be what we're really about here. Other churches and religions have their theological opinions about how things work and how they have to put those dynamics in place, on a theological level. And I think ours are so much more about principles. It's the spiritual principle of the things that we contemplate. And if we think about forgiveness, it's not just because somewhere in the Bible it said, forgive your neighbor, forgive us, which is great. I mean, it's wonderful wisdom. But I like to think that we go a little deeper than that. We go into the psychological part of why is that important? Why is forgiveness just, isn't it enough to just say, oh, I forgive, and then walk about your business? It doesn't quite work that way. When we talk about forgiveness, we're talking about a soul-searching forgiveness that gives us peace of mind, and we realize the concept that's going on. And of course, in Miracles, like I said, the forgiveness factor is just huge. And one of the things that just absolutely blew my mind when I finally started thinking, I think I get this somewhat. And it was the idea that we go beyond forgiveness in terms of forgiving, okay? We go beyond it. It's not at face value. That certain things have to happen in order for the forgiveness factor to come into play. And of course, teaches us that is, if we look at ourselves in the true spiritual identity of who we truly are as a child of God, a thought in the mind of God, if that's who we truly, truly are as an identity, we can't be attacked. And of course, turns that word totally around, We think of attack as this physical, aggression. Attack is a thought of non-forgiveness. It's non-love. That's an attack. And can I really accept that if I truly believe I'm a child of God? So he puts that on a level of, first we have to really be able to identify who we really truly think we are in the spiritual realm, okay? I mean, we always talk about that saying, am I a human having a spiritual experience, or am I a spirit having a physical experience? That's a whole change in paradigm. And if we think ourselves in that spiritual sense, that's who I am, I cannot truly be attacked. Well, back to forgiveness, there's no reason to forgive anybody for anything unless you believe you've been attacked, right? I mean, you have to accept that. So all you're doing, if you're saying, I'm going to forgive you, you're basically saying, you have attacked me. I have accepted that challenge and that attack. And out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to forgive you. That's not forgiveness. That is amnesty. That is saying, I am going to let this go out of the goodness of my heart and just don't let it happen again. If it happens again, not only am I not going to forgive you next time, I'm going to bring this one with it. Okay? Well, you didn't forgive. Forgiveness it's a forgetting. It never happened. That's the other thing I love about Course. It redefines terms. Okay? What we considered attack, what we thought somebody was a very bad thing that happened. The Course in Miracles would call that a call for help. On their end, it's a call for help. Please see me as in need. I need your attention. We do that with children all the time, do we not? I mean, we look right through something they're doing and, God, they're just tugging on our pant leg. They're only doing this for attention. And we blow that off, going, oh yeah, I'm great, I know children. I can figure a child out right away. We don't like to be quite that analytical on our relationships in our daily human lives. We don't want to see that. We want to doubt motive. We want to judge that and find a way to make ourselves feel better about how we judge. We take great pride in judging. We've been raised to, you know. And so, when we really get to the core of it, true judgment is forgiving yourselves for having seen something you thought you needed to forgive. And say that again. True forgiveness is to forgive ourselves for having thought we saw something in someone else that needed to be forgiven. If we go that far, we are going beyond judgment. When Jesus said, how many times forgive? 7 times 70? That was just a statement about redundancy. It just meant always. You always going to forgive. Well, if you take that to its most logical conclusion, that means that anything that happens that needed to be forgiven is going to be forgiven. It has to be. So at some point in time, you get to the point where you realize, I might as well forgive it now. Right. Now. I don't want to hold on to it and realize later, kind of figure it all out and judge the motives and everything. I'll get back to you when it's time to forgive, and I'll get to it. It starts happening now. And that's what the Course calls the collapse in time. When we start to find out that moment of, geez, I know I identified with this right away. I know what this is immediately. This is a call for help. Oh, geez, now I'm in the forgiveness mode. Forgive myself. And there you go. Things that you would have held on to for days, weeks, months, lifetimes, you can forgive in an instant by recognizing what it really is. It was a call for help. It was a call for love. And how do you answer a call for love? With love. You have to. That's what it is. And I'm a big-time Star Trek fan, Trekkie. And one of my favorite episodes is in The Next Generation, and it had to do with O'Brien and some alien guy, I forget the species. But they were having a conversation, and it was about O'Brien was really being indifferent to this guy because he had had a bad past experience with that other guy's species on another planet or something. And anyway, O'Brien ended up having to shoot and kill one of these guys while protecting some others. And the conversation ended with this. The guy's asking, so why do you hate me? What have I ever done to you? And O'Brien goes through the story of what happened, and he had to do all that. And he finally turns to the guy and he says, you know, I had never killed anything in my life. I shunned from killing insects or anything. Never had I killed anything in my life. And there I was, put in this position, and I did. I took action and I did it. And he turns to the guy and he says, I don't hate you. I hate what I think I've become because of you. And that's where we're at. We don't hate that other person. We hate what we think we've become because of that other person. And in that moment, what we really hate is that momentary idea we have of non-forgiveness. We don't hate that person. We hate ourselves for not finding the opportunity and using that opportunity to forgive. It's pretty basic, it's pretty deep, but it's the essence of what we are if we're going to have peace in our lives, peace in our minds. We are saturated with news that is unbelievable every day and all that, and all we want to do is doubt motives and scream hate. And if we take a moment and go, wow, what a call for love from our part and theirs. And one thing I want to leave you with is we cannot recognize their call for love except that we recognize it's ours as well. If we have defined it, we've claimed it. It's there, it's ours too. So we must forgive ourselves as we forgive others.